Welcome to day 6 of the 12 days of Laney. It's so hard to believe that we're already on day 6. Like, that's crazy. But I'm super duper excited because for today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a step-by-step makeup look for what I would typically wear at a competition for baton twirling. So I've actually gotten a lot of requests for this. A couple people have asked me like what types of makeup I use, brushes, like random stuff really, but I mean, I hope this answers any and all questions anybody has about my makeup routine as far as competition season goes. So yeah, let's get to the video. Okay, so to start, I'm just gonna like pull my hair back so that it's kind of out of my way. Until I get a little messy bun back here and get it out of the way. But the first thing I normally do is my coconut Rosewater. This is by Essence, and it's basically a lifesaver. I mean, it's kind of like a moisturizer, but like, yeah, it's a hydrating mist is what it's called on the bottle, literally. And I just kind of spritz it all over my face and then fan it dry, so. Next I go in with my Clinique Moisture Surge. It's like this pink little thing, moisturizer as well, but I put this one under my eyes and under my eyes only, and it like you only need a really good bit, so. It's okay. Yeah. So that's as far as that basic stuff goes. I mean, next I'm only going with foundation, which is like a basic for everyone really. Now, if I weren't competing, I have my two favorite foundations for when I'm pale. I have a very specific foundation for when I'm tan. But my two favorites for when I'm pale are Becca foundation, which is a light coverage. So like if I would wear makeup on a daily basis, like this is what I would wear as my foundation. And because I am nice and pale, I get it in the shade Fair. And then for a more full coverage pale foundation, I tend to use Tarte. This stuff is like a lifesaver because it's clay based, so it doesn't really make my skin look super oily, which is like a blessing because naturally I have really like moisturized skin, so it's like pretty oily, and constantly having to like reapply powder during the competition day so that I don't look shiny while competing. But so today I'll be using Tarte as my foundation, and I get this also in the shade Fair, I believe. Fair Sand is the specific name. Now I'm going to show you the foundation that I use for when I'm tan, because this is probably the best foundation I've ever used in my life, and it's like drugstore foundation. Like you can get it at CVS, Target. I'm sure you can get it at Walmart. I don't really shop at Walmart that much. Target's not going to go to, but this is by L'Oreal. It's called Infallible Pro Matte. They do have another version of Infallible that's like a blue bottle, but this one's a matting one, so because I tend to get oily and sweaty throughout the day while competing, this helps my skin keep that matted look, so it's not like shiny or glowy at all. And when I'm spray tanned and like tan and everything, I get it in the shade 106, which is Sun Beige, which is still not very tan, but it's enough for the competition season. But for today, I'm gonna go in with my Tarte foundation. I use a beauty blender to do most of my blending. This beauty blender has seen better days. looking a little rough now, but so I wet it before I started this video, but I sometimes use coconut rose water to wet it. If not, I'll just like go wet it in the sink and then rinse it out so that there's not like water seeping out of it, you know. But it has some moisture left in there, and then I'm gonna put my foundation on the back of my hand and start from there. Sometimes I'll like put like the dots on my face and then blend from there, but it depends on my mood that day really. I also have this little handheld mirror that I'm probably going to use a lot to check and make sure I'm like blending all the way, because it's hard to tell with my other mirror. But yeah, I'll probably skip through some of this throughout the video, at least the foundation portion, because it's nothing too entertaining. When I apply my foundation, I do a lot of like dabbing motions, like blotting, I think. Yeah, blotting would be a better word than dabbing. But I never really like rub when I'm using a beauty blender. It's always like that like fast like tapping my face motion. Sometimes when I get up to like my hairline and stuff, I'll like brush a little to make sure it blends fully. But yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody kind of follows mainly the same techniques when it comes to that stuff. Not too much changes. And then normally I'll like go in with this BareMinerals brush. It's called the Precision Base Brush. And I just like blend it down my neck to make sure that I'm like all one color, that there's no like harsh line right there. And then I go through my hairline as well to make sure that it's blended out all the way. Kind of just make sure there's no creases or anything. You don't want to look cakey ever, so you want it to look super natural, kind of like you have no foundation, like you have foundation on. At least that's the look that I go for most of the time. I don't want it to be like decked out in makeup. Competition, you kind of gotta have more on, but that's normal. Next I normally go in with concealer. And I use the Covergirl. So this one has seen better days too. We're running out. But I normally use Covergirl Clean Invisible Concealer. And this is in the shade, again, Fair. And I just go in with that and make like the triangle under my eye. Pretty basic stuff here. And then I will go through and like tap my blemishes with it. I mean, although it doesn't cover them up fully, it kind of hides their redness or anything that kind of stands out. Sometimes I'll do a little concealer down the bridge of my nose, but you know, not necessary. Just more for fun. And then I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender again and just kind of blend all of that out. I have a super duper full coverage concealer that's really thick, so I try not to like use it all that much, because I mean, it works great, but it feels a little bit heavy if I'm having like a really bad face day where my face just doesn't cooperate. Then I'll pull out the hardcore concealer, but most of the time I just go in with my Covergirl and keep it like more basic. And as far as setting powder goes, I do sometimes use like real setting powder, but 90% of the time I use baby powder, which is probably like people watching this probably like, oh my gosh, she uses baby powder. It's fine though, it works great. Just you watch, you're gonna be impressed. We love it. And it smells amazing. And I go in with that same BareMinerals Precision Face Brush. Sometimes I'll use this one, and then sometimes I use this looser brush, and it's by the company Lamora. I don't know if you can like, read that or anything. It's a round angled contour brush, so I don't necessarily use it what it's supposed to be used for, but it works. I just go in and tap my baby powder, and I'll go under my eyes, obviously to kind of like set it. Looking good. Go in with the other eye as well. Yep, it's a look, to say the least. And now I'm gonna get the remaining baby powder and just kind of like brush it along my jawline. And this is gonna kind of create like a natural contour, if you can tell at all. You won't really have to like harshly contour. You can kind of see it happen naturally, I guess, if that makes sense. And then I just kind of let that sit while I move on to my eyeshadow. Now, there's one palette that I absolutely live by, and it's a Tarte palette. It's called Tartlet in Bloom. So it's like a Tarte palette, Tartlet in Bloom. And it looks like this. And the colors in it are absolutely beautiful. I apologize for the mirror being so dirty, but that's what the colors in the palette look like. They're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you can kind of tell which ones I use more than the rest, but I'll tell you all the shades and everything that I use. For this, I like to use a looser brush, because I mean, if it's a really like firm bristled brush, it's a little bit harder to blend, and it looks a little bit less soft, maybe is like the way to describe it. But I use about 1 million colors on my eyes, so I apologize in advance. But I go in with Charmer, which is like a white, like a creamy color. I just kind of like tap it and then tap off my brush. And then I go in and just kind of cover my eyelids in it. I use it kind of as like a base for the other colors that I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to go in and use that. So after that, I normally go in with a slightly lighter shade, Flower Child, right under that. So this one. And I do the same thing, kind of I dab and then hit off my brush. And I normally put that gently in my crease, just to like give it a little bit of a definition. Perfect. And then, so that's 2 colors. I probably use like 8 of the colors in this palette, and there's only 12 to choose from, so fun. Next I go in with Jet Setter, which is this one that's next to Charmer. and just dab this one lightly because it's a darker shade than what we've been using. And I just kind of like pack that onto my crease a little bit. Like, as you can tell, I'm not using a lot of the eyeshadow. I'm just using enough to get some color on there. And then I hit it one more time and pack it a little heavier this time so that we can blend it out. So we just did that, and I'm gonna take the same brush. I'm gonna blow it out a little to get some of the color out. And just kind of like blend that through. So there's just about enough color on my eyes. I mean, we're gonna go in with some more to heavy it up because when we are competing, we need to do a little bit heavier looks, which is fun, but kind of fun because I like makeup. So next I'm gonna go in with the color that's right under Jet Setter, called Smarty Pants, which is this one right here. You'll notice that it has more of like a light brown tone to it, but it's still a heavy color like the dark brown that we used above. And this one, I'm just gonna like tap on there and same thing, get all the loose powder out of my brush. And then I'm going to kind of like use that to blend it upward a little bit closer to my brow bone because we really want to make sure that our entire eye is being covered. So I'm just gonna like tap it up there a little bit to start, which like probably looks kind of heavy on camera, I can't tell. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side before I blend, and we're just gonna kind of tap it up into closer to our brow bone. And then we're gonna go same thing, but blend it again. Now, there's one thing that I don't really like when I do makeup, and when it gets like super high in this corner here, I feel like it looks like too overpowering maybe, so I normally use my finger and just kind of control that in a little bit. And if you look at the difference between my eyes, it's not like a drastic difference, but it's enough to make this look a little bit more subtle. So we go in with that, and they're just about even again. Well, as even as they're gonna be. And then we have 2 more colors to use. So I'm only gonna use 6 today. The next color we're gonna go in with is the one that's under Smarty Pants. So it's going to be this pinkish kind of color. It has a hint of like rosy to it, which is good on my green eyes. So I'm gonna do the same thing, dab it with my brush, tap it off, and then I'm gonna use this to cover my eyelid. And we're gonna wanna like do this a few times because we really want that pinky color to show up a little bit. So we really wanna get it on there. If you want, you can like pack it on a little, so like not blend the brush, just like dab it on. And that kind of helps. I mean, you can kind of see the pinky tone to it. You don't want it to be like bright pink or anything, so we're just gonna repeat the same thing. I actually think they look pretty even. I don't think I need to go in again. Now, the last color that we're going to use is my favorite color, and it's what I use on the inner corners of my eyes and like the corner of my lid, and it's my favorite color in this palette. It's called Funny Girl, and it's this bottom left one or bottom right one, depending on like how you're looking at it from the camera. It's right here, and clearly you can tell that I use it a lot. And with this one, we really want the shimmer that's in the eyeshadow to remain because we're competing, our eyes need to pop a little, and I use this shimmer as that pop. So instead of using a brush, because when I use a brush I feel like it doesn't set as well, like I can't pack it on as well as I can when I use my finger. So I'm gonna go in with my ring finger, and it doesn't really matter what finger you use, it's just my preference, and I just kind of like get some color on there so that it's like enough to blind someone. I'm kidding. And then I just go ahead and start applying that on the inner corner of my eye. So I start with like dabbing it just like right in the center corner to get some color on it, and then I slide my finger across my eyelid to really lock it on there. And I do a pretty harsh line going like up to down, because I want there to be a sharp difference until I blend it from the inner corner of my eye to the rest of the colors on my eye. So I really make it dramatic when I'm trying to do it. See, a pretty dramatic line, I mean, it looks kind of strange now, but when I blend it, it'll look a little better. And then I just go in and do the exact same thing on the other eye. So we're looking pretty even at the moment, which is good because sometimes eyes don't cooperate, and that's gonna be all that we use the Tarte palette for. Actually, I lied. We'll probably go back in and do some under eye stuff, but we'll go back to that. I'm gonna go back in with my Lamora brush, the Precision Angled Contour 114, and I'm going to gently do a circular motion to blend the line of the shimmer shadow to my other colors. So I'm going to do that circular motion to blend it out. I still want there to be a pretty good difference, just maybe not as harsh of a line. Good enough for the, good enough. Okay, so that's like the gist of like the top eye that I do. Normally next I go in with my BareMinerals brush. That is a precision face brush. I used this a little bit ago to blend my foundation. And I'm going to do the same thing, just kind of like brush off the excess powder from my baking. And then we're just about good for that, all of that stuff. Now we're gonna go back to that Tarte palette and use, I think I'm gonna pull a brush from my angled brush set. I don't always use what these are intended for, so this one's an eyebrow brush, but I'm actually gonna use it for under eye shadow. I'm gonna go in just with that Sweetheart color that has that pinky tone to it, and just tap this in there and just kind of brush it under my eye so that there's a little bit of color. So yeah, just so that it follows like my line, really. Nothing too major. But like you can see the difference that it does from one eye to the other. It looks pretty good. So same thing on the other eye. Alrighty, so I mean, pretty even looks right now. I normally like to do that inner corner color called Funny Girl with the same thing. So I kind of like brush this on a towel that I have to get that pinky color off. And then I go into that Funny Girl color. I don't brush this one off because I want it to be packed on there pretty nicely. And I just kind of go in, just like I did with the other color, just on the inner part of my under eye. And get some of that that Fun Girl on there. Alright, that's perfect. Okay, so that will close our Tarte palette for good, I believe. Unless I decide to go back in the future or something. But, next I normally go in with my eyeliners. Kind of get all my eye stuff out the way. I use a plain black NYC eyeliner pencil. It's in the color Jet Black, and you can kind of get it at, like, I think I got this at CVS, maybe Target, those kind of places. Same thing, drugstore makeup for the simple stuff. And then I just kind of go in, and I normally do this on my waterline a very little bit. If you do too much, it gets a little messy throughout the day, I feel, so I go in with a very light hand. Sorry if you can't really see me. Alright, so that's like my, what I use for my waterline. And then I use this green. That is a Wet n Wild pencil, which is pretty old. As you can tell, it's kind of little. It's the shade name is not on here anymore, but it's 660. And I normally do that under my lash line. So kind of like where I just put all the makeup, just a little bit thinner. So I just go in and just kind of trace my under eye. I mean, it's nothing that's like super standoutish or super duper noticeable. It's just enough to give my eyes a little pop. And I actually use the green color. I actually use green because the green on my green eyes and my pale skin makes my eyes kind of like pop a little bit more than I think they normally would. So it's just something that I kind of found over the years, and my mom recommended to me, and I just kind of stuck with it. And yeah, that covers my under eye eyeliner and stuff. We'll do my upper eye eyeliner in a short minute. Next, I normally go through with my brow stuff. I do brow stuff next, just to kind of, I know that's like a little late in the game. People normally do brow stuff first. Guess I'm just an oddball. So I use It Cosmetics Brow Power, and it's my absolute favorite. I use it in the shade Universal Taupe. I think what I like most about it is that the pencil head is in the shape of a triangle, so it kind of creates like a hair-like stroke, if that makes sense, which is nice because it makes my eyebrows look fuller, but not like they're completely drawn on, which is always the goal, because we don't want it to necessarily look fake. We just want it to look like we're enhancing our natural beauty. So I just brushed through and combed my eyebrows, and then I'm just going to turn the pencil around and use the other side to fill in gently. So I normally start with like a pretty harsh line on the bottom, just to like specify the bottom of my eyebrow and where I don't want to go any lower. And then from there, I just kind of take the pencil and do upward strokes to match my hair. So like as my hair starts to grow outward, I'll follow the lines. And yeah, that just kind of, I just follow that process throughout my whole eyebrow and fill it in until it looks pretty full. go about halfway down my eyebrow because you don't really need to fill in your little tails down there. Pretty simple stuff. But yeah. And then repeat the same thing on the other eyebrow, and then I'll kind of blend them in so that they don't look as drawn on. They'll look a little bit more natural. So same kind of thing on this side, just kind of did that. I filled in my scar from my eyebrow. You can still kind of see it through my eyebrow, but I fill it in the best I can to make it look not like I have a big scar through it. And then to blend it, because it looks like I just drew eyebrows on my face, I go back in with the bristled end brush and just kind of like recomb everything through, just to make it natural again. So yeah, back to natural eyebrows. Even though they're like penciled in and stuff, they still look pretty natural. I mean, you don't want them to look completely fake, so there we are as far as eyebrows go. Normally next I go in and do my eyeliner and that fun stuff. So for eyeliner, I normally use, this is also a L'Oreal product, but it's a L'Oreal Infallible as well. I thought it was different. It's a L'Oreal Infallible, called the Super Slim Liquid Eyeliner in the color black. And it says it lasts up to 12 hours, which is pretty true because it lasts me an entire competition day. And then I just go in and do like a light wing. I never do a super harsh wing because I'm not very good at them, number one. Number two, and I don't know if we necessarily need them when we're competing. So I just kind of take my mirror, go in, work the magic. Okay, so now that we have both eyes eyeliner done, I normally go in with my fake eyelashes, and I already took them out of the packaging, so I'll do those momentarily. I'll tell you what they are first. So I get the Ardell brand, and they're called the Faux Mink, and if you don't know, mink is like mink lash extensions. They're a type of lash extension that you can get, and they're just kind of mimicking the lash extension and putting them into false eyelash form that like we can apply with eyelash glue. And I get them in the style number 811, and they're nice and full. I mean, I'll kind of show you them. They're pretty full, and I have already worn this pair a few times, so it's probably time for a new pair. But when I first get them, my eyes aren't like all that wide, so I normally have a hard time with the eyelash like poking me in the corner of my eye or something like that. So I normally go through with scissors and trim them to kind of match my eye length. So that I don't have to worry about that extra eyelash, like the extra length of the eyelash poking me or something like that. So I'm currently cleaning off these, like getting all the old glue off. And yeah, we're almost done. And then I'll apply my glue and get straight into the process of gluing them on, which is no fun at all. So they're just about clean enough. Perfect. Okay, so let me get my eyelash glue. Alright, so I do is straight out of the top of the bottle, I just kind of like squirt a little so that it's like falling over the edge like that. And then I just take my eyelash in and brush the glue with it so that it's not too much glue, because when it's too much it takes forever to dry and you really don't want that. That's no fun. So then we're gonna go in slowly with a little bit of glue. We're just kind of gonna blow on that and let it dry a little, because we want it to be, we're gonna blow on that, let it dry a little, because we want it to be a little bit more on the tacky side instead of like wet glue. We want it to be on the tacky side when we go to apply it to our eye. And a lot of people I know use tweezers when they do this, but I literally can't. Like, it makes my life so difficult when I use tweezers. I don't know why, but using my fingers just tends to be easier for me. I just kind of like get it where I want it and then hold it in place with my fingers. I don't know why that works for me, not for others, but or why tweezers work for others and not for me, but we're just gonna go for it. Now, oh, I forgot to say my lash glue. The lash glue that I use is also our dough. It's called Lash Grip Eyelash Adhesive, and I only ever use clear eyelash adhesive because when I use black it looks really messy and sloppy, and like white eyelash glue dries clear, so it's like white when you squeeze it out the bottle, but when it's on your eye it's clear, so you can't tell you even have it. So even if you weren't wearing eyeliner, you wouldn't be able to see the glue from your eyelashes, which is pretty cool. And let me do the other one and we'll be back in a moment. Alright, so we're back and I have both my eyelashes on. And the next step is normally to go in with some mascara to blend my real lash with the fake lash. And my all-time favorite mascara is L'Oreal. It's also a L'Oreal product. It's called Lash Paradise. This one's waterproof and incredible. Phenomenal. Highly recommend. And I just kind of go through and do a light amount of mascara. Like, you don't have to heavy up your eyes because you are wearing those fake lashes that are going to make your eyes automatically look a little bit bigger. You're now just trying to blend your real lash with the fake lash, which doesn't really require much. Same thing on the other side. Blend it, blend it, blend it. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing that I normally do is go into my bottom lashes, and these ones I don't necessarily do heavy, but I treat them like I would if I weren't wearing fake eyelashes. So I normally do probably 2 layers on them. So that was layer 1 and kind of made them bigger already. I'm gonna go to the other eye. And that's my mascara. Alright. So that completes my eye look. There's a few last little touches that go into a competition look, obviously. Now, we want a super great blush, and I use Covergirl Cheekers for my blush. And because I'm a little bit older, I don't want as pinky of a blush. I want more of like a calm blush, so it's like more of like a rosy color instead of like bright pink. Now when you're little, you want your cheeks to pop, so that's fine. But I use the color Rose Silk, which is shade number 105 in Covergirl Cheekers blush, and I go in with my Studio M brush. There's not a number or name on it, so I apologize. And I just go in, really rub that, tap it off a little, and just kind of apply it to the apples of my cheeks. Pretty heavily to the apples at least. And then I kind of use that and blend it outward to go up towards my hairline a little bit. And then I tap it a few more times and drag it up the side of my hairline, like up the side of my cheek a little bit, my face, to give it a little bit of definition so you can see the difference from this side and this side. Add it to this side. And then that's kind of harsh, but I'll go in with a different brush in a minute to calm that down a little bit. I do go in with my contour palette last, which is probably a little strange. I know a lot of people kind of do that a little bit sooner in their makeup steps, but I'm actually going to use this new contour palette that I got as a gift from Little Miss Major out of America, Sadie O'Sullivan. I got it at this past competition, the Holly Jolly Classic, and I'm super excited to kind of try it out. It is a LA Colors palette, and it's the I Heart Makeup Contour Palette, and that's about all it says. It's in the shades medium to deep. Don't know exactly what that classifies as, but I'm gonna go in, let's see what brush I use. I'll probably use this brush for my contour. At least, I don't like to contour harsh, I contour pretty gently. This is a Lindo brush contour kabuki. Yeah, kabuki. Just take a look. Easier for you to read than for me to explain. Yeah. I'm just gonna go in with a shade that's not like too dark, but they're all powders. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna probably go in with maybe this top right shade, not too dark, especially for my skin tone. I just kind of tapped it with the corner of my brush, and I'm tapping that off because the excess is gonna make it look super duper dark. I'm not sure if you can like see it on camera or not, but it's coming up nicely on my in the mirror, so I'm gonna keep going with that. So yeah, I'm probably a little too much, so I'm gonna go in and blend that out a little. Sorry, I don't know what happened, my camera cut out, but just finished my contour and it looks pretty good. I'll probably go in and blend a little bit more once I'm done. But I'm then going to go in with another Lamora brush. I don't know if it'll focus. Probably not, knowing my luck. But it's a tapered highlighter contour brush, numbers 113, like 113. And I'm just going to go in and test this highlighter out. See how it looks. It's this top right, top left, depending on how you're looking. And I'm just gonna like do a circular motion on that and take my rather good highlight considering it's a LA Colors. Not like a super name brand. I mean, I normally use a Fenty Beauty highlighter. Let me grab it. I normally use this Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shade Starstruck, and it's just like a match stick, so like a stick that you just would rub on. I'll do it on my hand. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a pretty good highlighter. I absolutely love it. But I'm really liking this one too, so getting the job done. But yeah, so after that, I'm going to go in with my BareMinerals Precision Face Brush again and just kind of buff it all out and blend it a little bit better because we don't want harsh lines, especially in that contour. We want it to look just kind of like we're bronzed, you know? We don't want it to look like a dark line on our face. Also have that blush in there that we still need a little bit heavy so that we look bright on the floor. But the last step in my makeup routine would normally be lipstick, but I forgot to do one thing with my highlighter. So I go in with this tiny little brush. Not exactly sure what brand it is. It is BC, which is Beauty Concepts. And I'm going in with the Precision Angled Brow. And I'm just going to tap it on that highlighter that's in the LA Colors palette. And I'm gonna use it right under my brow to highlight my brow bone. Really accent that. Now, it's not exactly doing what I want it to do, so I'm gonna go in with what I normally use. And this is so old, I can't even tell you who makes it. I know the shade's White Lies. I'm sorry, it's just so old, like you can't even tell what company makes it. But it's a bright white powder that has broken, clearly. But I just go in with this brush, and I'm using what's on the cap because it's broken. The cap has everything I need it to have, really. So I just go in on my brow bone, the back guy. Which is super fun. It just kind of gives you a little bit of a pop, which is nice. And if I'm ever not happy with like my highlighter or something, I go in with this white shadow, which like sounds crazy, but it's just such a perfect highlight color. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just literally perfect. So I try to use it if other stuff isn't working for me. And the last step for a competition look would be lipstick. Majority of the time, because I'm older, I wear bright red lipstick, just because it makes a statement. But depending on costumes or age, I sometimes go in with a pink lip. The pink lipstick that I often use is Revlon, and it's in the shade Fuchsia Fusion, which is number 657. And that's just like a pinky color. Now, the red that I absolutely love is by, I'm not even sure what company, not exactly sure what company this one's by. But it's bright red, and it's a Moisture Renew lipstick, so I don't know about the rest of the world, but when I wear lipstick and it like gets really dry, I have to go reapply it so that it's like wet, not wet, but like moisturized on my lips, because when it dries out it makes me want to like put chapstick on, which is no good with lipstick. So you want to kind of keep a moisturized lipstick on, and that's exactly what this does. The shade is, sorry about that, but I like my moisturized lipstick. The shade is Red Alert in shade number 505, and I just kind of apply it like you apply any other lipstick. That, okay, so that covers a full makeup look for me. A little trick of the trade is, like, you know how lipstick tends to get on your teeth a lot? This is crazy, but if you take your finger and just, like, put it in your mouth and then pull it out while you close your lips, the lipstick that gets on your finger is what normally would have gotten on your teeth. So I normally do that like 2 times probably, just to make sure that I get all the lipstick. So like by the second time, there's no lipstick on my finger, which is great because we don't want any lipstick to get on our teeth while we're performing. So that covers everything I do for my makeup and everything. Now as far as cleaning my brushes and anything like that, I use this scrubbing pad, which is kind of dirty because I use it to clean my brushes, obviously. It's a Beauty Concepts product, and I think I got it like off of Amazon or something like that. Super easy, super duper duper easy. It has suction cups on the back, so you just kind of stick it to your sink, wet your makeup brush, and circular motion, so kind of like this on it, and it's just gonna get all of those, all of the makeup residue in your brush out, which is super handy because when your makeup brush gets too full of makeup, it just stops working with you. But yeah, and so I've had a lot of requests for a makeup video as well as a hair video. My competition hair, a lot of people ask me how I get my poofs so high. So if you want to learn my trick of the trade, leave it in the comments down below. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video, all future videos. Don't forget to hit that like button and the big red subscribe button down below. And about it for today's video, so I'll see you guys tomorrow in tomorrow's video, and I'll see you whenever, really. Peace.